Hey, I want to thank everyone who has sent me comics, art, and some people have sent me money. So thank you for that. I did not expect or deserve any of it. So Heather Antos hates America, and we're not Nazis. We're just assholes. So these people need to toughen up, Buttercup. This has Sean Gordon Murphy, Donny Cates, Comic Book Hut, EVS, Tristan, and Mandy. Oh, and Heather Antos in it. Quick news, Sean Gordon Murphy has a YouTube channel called Murphy Apprenticeship. Check him out. His latest video talks about launching a project, so things are in development, but more on that in a second. Donny Cates talked to EVS last night, and EVS was a little bit of an asshole. But keep in mind, the SGWs in comics have called him and us Nazis for years, which is funny because if you think EVS is a German from the 30s, then you have no idea what that word even means. We're not Germans, we're just assholes. There is a difference. Words have meanings. When I call people godless commies, you can go read their social media. They are literally godless commies. Max Usazio is an anti-Christ socialist. Her Twitter is covered with it. We don't have Hindu peace symbols in our social media unless it's meant as a joke, you effing retards. We are shitlords having a laugh. They are actual socialists who want to remove your free expression. They are the authoritarians who slaughtered Russians, Polish, Ukrainians in death camps. They're the monsters. They're the bad guys who killed, 200 million people? Everything they accuse us of, they are. They're the brown shirts in the streets who wear black masks and want to take away your right to assemble. Sean Gordon Murphy and Donny Cates, they see the writing on the wall, I assume. Keep in mind the writing has been getting bigger for the past 5 years. Then the wall fell on top of them. They're surrounded by a group of collectivist harpies, negative Nancys who will crap on every good idea because it doesn't meet the approved groupthink. Oh, hey, I have a story based on my boyhood friends. 5 Polish boys go on an adventure. Oh, no, that isn't going to work. We need a black lesbian, a Mexican trans, and the blonde German struggle snugglist. Well, then, why don't you fuck right off and write your own story based on your friends? Oh, that's right. You never had any childhood friends, because you guys are assholes. Sean Gordon Murphy's friends are telling him that this isn't the right time to launch a comic and make a lot of money. Sean, buddy, those aren't your friends. Those are crabs in a bucket. You're going to see the top talent transfer to crowdfunding, and the bottom crabs will try to drag them back because the top talent can successfully leave. It was the same way with communes. They had hardworking people who kind of looked at the lazy people and realized that they were subsidizing people who'd rather smoke pot all day. Basically, the hard workers are slaves to the bums. They learned that communes only work when everyone does the same amount of work. Translation, a regression to the mean, which is by its definition mediocre. The part about crowdfunding is it helps to have a social media presence in place to act as your advertising platform. People like Sean Gordon Murphy, why do I keep saying that? I can't say those 3 words in succession. Sean Murphy, Donny Cates can probably build an audience pretty quickly on YouTube. Guys that age range do fine, where people like Gail, Simone, they have this wine aunt humor. It's probably not going to translate over to YouTube. In fact, if you look at her sub thing, she got a huge bounce in the beginning, and then it just flattened out at like under 2,000. And now that I think about it, I don't think her stuff ever sold that well, so I can't imagine any crowdfund that she does will also sell well. But at least she is trying to build a YouTube channel, so credit where credit is due. Coming to Comicsgate. The obvious option is to grab an audience that is already in place. Enter Comicsgate. Comicsgate is a group started by just some of the people, don't hate me if I forget some. I Love Comics, Douglas Ernst, Captain Cummings, and that dude who had a mask, Captain Obvious or something, or I forget it, Captain Cartoon, I don't know. But it went atomic when one Richard C. Meyer, a.k.a. literally Hitler, started reviewing SJW comics in his Kia POS on his $200 Samsung phone. That's it. That's his crime of wrongthink, saying racist, misandrist comics sucked. The SJWs labeled it Comicsgate and tried to destroy the boomer with the haircut by Adolf. For years, the SJWs have said anyone who doesn't buy their anti-white hatred is a monster. But now, thanks to, well, F China, the SJWs find themselves in a rainstorm without an umbrella. This all ties into due process and witch hunts. People on the side of collectivism want witch hunts and lynch mobs. Individuals want due process. Don't get me wrong, EVS is not an angel. He has jumped after people without seeing any evidence. He is a bit of a hypocrite in that regard. He has also called people Nazis, accused them of using drugs, then quickly scurries away like a rat and says, "Well, that's what I have heard." That is a scumbag move. But the difference between us and them, I'm not calling him a Nazi. I'm calling him an occasional asshole. I still want Cyberfrog 2 to hit $2 million. Everyone can be an asshole. We say our piece and then we move on. And, people call me assholes in the comments not every other video. It's gotten a little less frequent. They used to. And you know what? I pin their comments so you can see it because YouTube will hide comments with swear words in it. Okay, without respect, we reject. I heard Donny Cates call to EVS. It sounded like he was 6 beers deep. I'm not sure what the point of the call was. He wasn't begging, but it sounded like a first step towards a peace offering. Let me put this on the table. CG is SJW-free comics. No misandry, no anti-white racism. No more having the bad guys always be blonde or red-haired, Aryan-looking dudes. Do you agree or disagree, and why? What is your reasoning? Because if you can't stop making comics where the bad guys are Euro and the good guys are not Euro every single time, then you don't belong anywhere near Comicsgate. The old issue about blackwashing or vag washing, that was an unfortunate turn of phrase, characters is moot now. Comicsgate makes its own characters. Now we are free to make comics where the gang members aren't white guys, at least not every single time. You gotta mix it up a little bit, be fair. I know that even the people making those retarded woke comics know how silly it is. Speaking of respect, I want to go on to Heather Antos. I look at this cover. This guy sent me his comics, and this looks like a pretty decent comic. I would have used this as your cover right off the bat. The coloring on this is very good. This looks like a very high quality comic, and I'm surprised it doesn't have more traction. A lot of comics are not drawn to this level or have this level of writing. I'm really surprised that this does have this level of writing, and he's looking for $3,000, so he must have money on the side set aside for it. He's only funded to $1,200. That is a shockingly low amount for. He's got half the comic done, and it looks like a comic, and it's got big old titties in it, and people being people, and not being, like he says in one of the things, is they're not being purse puppies, and they're not approved body type. So I guess he's a fan of you, boy. I would have, I'm learning more about art and the difference between art and page composition. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but like someone like this can definitely draw, but that doesn't necessarily. I hope they're not listening. People get so pissed off when I criticize art. Artists are so thin-skinned. Holy shit. Anyway, this guy can definitely draw, but page composition is something else. It's like arranging the elements on the page is a whole different type of art. I mean, I might make these things smaller, move this stuff down, make the back of the cards less prominent, make this your main image bigger, and rotate it sideways to make it bigger. You can even have it cover up part of the title. It doesn't matter. That's a little bit better. But it says characters you don't emotionally validate each other. You suck. That's funny. But he's only got $1,200. It's just effing crazy. So I don't know if he's, and it's $13 for the comic, it's $4 for a PDF. I hope people don't buy the PDF instead of buying the comic. But $13 is decent. It's definitely decent. And $4 if you just want the comic for $4 to get him started. That's solid, man. But he's only at $1,300. That is not enough. So he needs to get on a big channel and get this thing up there, because he can definitely get his goal and probably double his goal. Okay, I hope I can get through this without saying anything too politically incorrect. Heather Antos has a history of anti-Christian bigotry She made a comment about Easter. And she also hates America and Americans. Heather Antos is selling product in America, and she hates Americans and Christians. Oh no, baby, what is you doing? Good thing her audience is also anti-Christ, anti-America, except that now her product can't be sold in stores, so I guess she'll go back to her gambling website. These people always manage to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. When Donny Cates was on live, he should have simply said, "Hey, Comicsgate, what's up? I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys." But to his credit, he did do a live conversation, and when you're at the table talking, you're not fighting. It creates the potential for a path forward. But really, he doesn't need us, we don't need him. He and the other SJWs can start their own channels. They can learn from the mistakes of drink and draw. This isn't 1979 where comic artists were bigger draws, because entertainment options were limited back then. You have to do more than a boring drawing stream. YouTube is entertain, inform, or be a hot chick. Since everyone I have seen in comics is as ugly as sin, you better be charming, which is a problem for NPCs. Charm.exe is not found. For example, Renfamous was a decent-looking cosplayer a few years ago who could be quick-witted and charming on Twitter, but was absolutely a mess when she did a live stream. She came across as petty and vindictive, which is pretty much the definition of SJWs. But I am such a dummy that if somebody wants to make peace, then I want to look for a pathway to make that happen. Because I'm just sappy like that. I know I don't sound it, but I am. Anyway, what thing has the worst fans? Heather Antos says America. GTFO, Heather. I'm going to end this here because I started saying a bunch of other things. All right, guys, check out Tilt. I'll put the link down below. And if you want me to take a look at your comic, use it as a background, no problem. Just let me know. You can hit me up, Bianca Zombie 602 at gmail.com. I've got a Discord link below in the comments. Twitter link, though my Twitter is pretty much 100% trolling cancer, so I'd probably avoid that if you were sensitive. And I will see you guys on the next episode.